today's episode of Face the Facts, we're going to be talking about hair transplant and recovery, and specifically what is happening at this golden landmark of about 2 weeks post-op. The reason I want to cover this is that it's probably by far and away the most common question I get from patients, which is, when will I start looking normal? And so that's why we'll talk about this. So when we are doing a hair transplant, the kind that we do here is we will borrow a little hole punch of hair from the back of your head, and that hole punch will contain a little bit of your hair root. We have to get it trimmed down nice and short so you can actually see it. And then it will also have a little healthy cuff of skin around it. And then deep in there, below the level of the skin in your scalp, is where the hair stem cell unit lives. And that's where your hair actually grows from. We take that whole unit and put it somewhere else on your head, and it will settle there and find its new home for a course of about 2 weeks or so after the procedure. That means in that first 2 weeks after the procedure, you cannot wash your hair. You have to be very careful about touching it, anything that's sitting on top of it, pressure, hats, etc., creams, anything. This is the most critical time to make sure that that stem cell makes its way into the scalp and finds its new home. So for those 2 weeks, you're gonna leave that area alone, and it is very normal that the hair can get a little bit greasy, a little bit gross. At the 2 weeks mark, that cuff of skin that I talked about that comes with the graft tends to look really dry and flaky, like very crusty, and we'll have some example pictures. And that's what it may look like up until your 2 week post-op with us. At your 2 week post-op with us, if everything is nice and healthy, we will let you now start washing your hair like normal, freeing you of your restrictions, etc. And usually at that point, a lot of people will scrub, and then it will seem like all the hair has fallen out. That's good in the sense that you can now go back into public. It's not gonna look like you have greasy hair with flaky skin all over the place. You can kind of go back to being normal again. But that's bad because sometimes patients are like, oh my gosh, did I dislodge the grafts? Because they've all fallen out. And the important thing to remember here is that the hair that you see is not actually what matters. What matters is below the level of the skin, under the scalp where the stem cell lives. So oftentimes you will shed that residual hair that came with the transplant. It's not part of the picture anymore. It will look like you have nothing there, but below the level of the skin is where the transplanted hair cells live, and they will grow from there. If you are patient, take good care of them and wait a few months. So hopefully that gives you a general idea of what to expect with a hair transplant recovery, as well as what your downtime is really looking like, because that 2 weeks is, you know, it's obvious that you had something done. And then after 2 weeks, it's gonna look like you had nothing done, and that's also normal until several months later when the hair starts growing. Hopefully that helped you guys. If you are interested in a hair transplant, or if you know someone who is, you can just tell them, or you just thought this was fun. My name is Dr. Lexie Wang again. I will see you guys next time on Face the Facts.